Hello, welcome to Should I Buy This Game? Featuring Everdell Silverfrost. My name is Christine, and in this video I'll give you an overview of how the game is played, and then share a few things we may like or dislike about the game to help you decide if you want to add Everdell Silverfrost to your collection. Here we have the collector's edition of Everdell Silverfrost. And this is a standalone game in the Everdell world. Now, I just want to mention first off that these vessels here I purchased separately. And being the collector's edition, we do have a few upgrades. Now, in this game, there are a few changes. So instead of having events where we would score points, we now have guild cards. So at the beginning of the game, you're given 2 cards, and you have to pick which one you want to keep. So this card has, once I have 3 of the red cards in my hand, I could go and claim this card. Whereas on this one, we are comparing how many we have compared to our neighbor. And if I have more than my neighbor to my left, then I could claim this card. So you have to decide which way you want to go. So with your personal cards over here, there's also cards that everybody is working towards. So once you have 15 cards in your city, or 7 critters or 7 construction cards. But then this one is if you have 2 of each of the different supplies. So at any point in the game, when you have 2 of each of them, you could come over here to the guild and then claim that card. And they're worth the points listed on them. The other thing too is when you turn in, if you fulfill one of the guilds, then you can draw 2 more and keep 1. And that would stay in with your personal area. You can come here twice per turn. So there's 2 places here in a 2-player game that you could go, and then this is unlimited as long as you spend a fire to do so. And I'll talk a bit more about fire in a moment. So then we also have cards similar to Everdell. You have all the same, your little production cards. They're all the same type of symbols. Just the cards will be a little different. And this plays just like Everdell, where you're using your workers to get materials or cards. The difference is we now have a ranger. He has these nice little snowshoes on. So the ranger allows you, if I was to place them here and nobody was here, I would get 3 wood as well as a fire. However, if your opponent was here and you wanted some moss, you'd be able to use your ranger to go and get that moss, but you would not get the additional fire. As well, there's a new spot up here on our mountain, the beacons, and you can use a worker and pay a fire to go there, or you can use your ranger so you wouldn't get an additional fire, but he could also go there without having to pay fire. Since we are up here, these are big critters. So these give you some really good different bonuses. So you can activate one of your deployed workers, gain 4 of one type of resource you do not have. So that's a good way to get like amber, where you can only get 1 at a time. This one allows you to trade 1 resource and then get 3 resources in a fire. So that's a really good one. And this one allows you to play 1 card from your hand for 3 fewer resources. As well, up here, these little triangles, those are the coins. So you would get those coins which are worth a point each. When one of these gets used, the rest get moved up and a new one gets added in. And there's a whole bunch of different ones with some really good additional bonuses. The other thing you might notice here, though, is we have snow. And so what happens is as we move along the seasons, we start to put snow on our cards in our city, as well as areas on the board. And we use these cards here to tell us where that snow is going. So in this case, we'd put a snow here. To clear it, you have to melt it, and that's where the fire comes in. At the beginning, you use 1 flame to melt snow, but once we hit winter, we turn this over, and it's now 2 fires, 2 flames to melt the snow. And every time you melt the snow, you keep it, and it's worth points at the end. You can either get 5 points, whoever has the most, then 1 for each, or you can play 12 points for whoever has the most, and nobody else gets any points. So there's 2 ways to play that. And then our resources in this game is birch, the flames, amber, moss, and acorns. Acorns are for all our critters, and then the birch, moss, and amber is to build our buildings. So I think I will pick just the one that deals with me, and this other one would just go to the bottom of the pile. So like in a normal Everdell game, we're looking and doing our thing. So we know that at the beginning of the game, we want to produce. So I could either produce this one that has 2 birch and a moss, or this one that just has 2 birch. So I might take my first turn to go here to get the 3 birch. And then, like I said before, maybe the player's going to get some moss. So now I'm sort of blocked. However, if you recall, we had that really good card up there. And so I'm thinking I could go here. And maybe I want to do this one. I trade in 1 resource to get 3 resources and a flame. So I would just take that for now. I would trade in 1 of my birches. I would give that back. And maybe I want a moss and an amber. And maybe another amber just to, because you're always hard to get amber, and another flame. And then I would also get 2 coins, which is over here. So 1, 2 coins that I would add to my area. This would go just on a discard pile, and these would move up. And a new one would come in. So this one allows you to get 3 acorns in a card, because normally you could only get 2 acorns in a card. So now it is time to play a card. So maybe now, so I can either gain an acorn or gain a moss. So you have to think, what's more beneficial? The other thing is I can look here to see what's available, because I can play cards from the valley. So I might be looking at things I have to decide. This one, I could play 1, 1, and 1, but I only have the 2 birch if I want to play a second card. Just looking at the cards. Okay, so maybe I will just play a card from my hand. And I could play this one. I will spend my 2 birch and my moss, and I would therefore then put this in my card, and I gain an acorn. So I would just add an acorn to my area for the future. And then my opponent takes their turn. I'll just pretend they went here to get some acorns. Doesn't really matter. So now I might be thinking, do I want to play a card? But the thing with this game is once you activate, you're going to be adding that snow. So you sort of want to be the first one, because once snow is on your cards, you're going to have to take it off before you could activate it. So maybe I want to just change season. So I gain my guy, and I gain a chimney, which I will talk about, and you gain 1 fire per card in your city. So I currently have 1 card, so I get 1 fire. Now I can activate my production card, so I would get an acorn, but now it is time for snow. I also get my people back. So in a 1 or 3 player game, you're going to pull 2 of these cards. So as we saw earlier, that one is going to go here, and this is going to go on the journey spot over here. So we don't really have to worry about that one because we can't use this till the spring. So that's where the snow went. But now you put 3 in your city. And so I only have 1 card, so my card gets a snow on it. So if I want to activate this again, I'm going to have to spend 1 of my flames to remove that snow. But the thing is, your opponent also had to put snow on cards in their city. So if they have any production cards they want to activate, they're going to have to melt that snow before changing seasons. Now, the one other thing I want to mention is we just received a chimney. And the chimney is how you can play critters to your for free into your hand. So you can see here in this card, it allows me to play one production critter. Some of the other cards, this one allows one of the red cards. Let's see what we have. This allows one of the blue cards, the brown cards. Some of them, though, I'm just going to look in here because I'm looking for a certain one. Because some of them allow you to do unique cards and some of them don't allow you to do unique cards. So this one here, the snowflake, is a unique. So this one allows you to do any unique critter into your city. And then there are some that will say no unique. This one here. So just as long as it is not a unique critter, you can do into your city. And so to do it, I would need a green critter. You would put your chimney there, but you have to light your chimney. So you have to pay a flame to light your chimney, and then you could put a critter into your city without paying the resources. And that is how the chimneys work. So then you'll just continue playing like you would typically when you play Everdell, going back and forth through your opponents, getting resources, playing cards into your city. They all have numerous benefits. And then working through, and you're adding snow and melting snow throughout as well. And that is basically Everdell Silverfrost. There's also a solo mode to the game, and it is played with these two decks of cards. And so you turn it over, and the first one is a map. And the little tent tells you where we're going to start. This says he's placing one of his workers, and this is he's getting a card. So the first time we're placing a worker, and we put our card here. So the worker is going to go in the valley, or into the, not the valley, but going to get the resources. Now, if there was already a worker, then you would make your way down on this card. It shows the order of to go. So if there was a worker there, then maybe he would go up and do the guild. Or then he would do the, after the guild, he would go and do the mountain. That's only on spring. And then he'd do the mountain, but the other side. So you would just work your way through if the space is already taken. So then on the next one, he wants a card. So we turn over a thing, and it is a card from the deck. So we would just take a card from the deck and add it to their play area. And they're collecting cards that will get scored at the end of the game. And you just continue like that. On their turn, you turn a card. The next, he would want to place something. So he wants to place his person in Forge and get a fire. So he would go here. And he doesn't take discard and all that. He's just taking up space, and he gets a fire because he'll also get points for how many flames he has at the end of the game. And that's basically what you're doing. I'll do the last one. He wants a card from the valley, and he wants the most expensive card. So we have two, they're actually both the longhouse. So at this time, I'll show you, if you have duplicate cards, you're actually supposed to stack them. So they were both the longhouse, so he's going to add a longhouse into his collection. And that is the basics. There's a little more, but that's the basics of how the solo mode works. So overall, we've enjoyed playing Everdell Silverfrost. We also have Far Shore, and I do like these off-the-board little games. We really enjoy New Leaf as an expansion, so I'm hoping that they're going to continue the series and make a standalone New Leaf game. I think that will be a lot of fun. Now, the one thing that, we like the addition of snow, But we just find that if you are the second person, if you're not the first person changing into spring or into summer, it can be like really hard because you could have built up all these production cards and then you end up getting them all covered in snow. And unless you have the flames to clear the snow, you can only clear one card per turn. You won't be able to cash in on all those production cards you had. So we're sort of thinking as a house rule, we may do the snow in our city after we individually cross that point, because we played once where Mark went early and I had 3 production cards, and then they all got snow and I wasn't able to produce any of them, and I found it very frustrating. So as a house rule, we may just do it after you trade into the season, then you'll put snow on your cards. But the snow on the cards does add a different little benefit. So like if I wanted to use this, not benefit, but little mechanism or something to work. So if I wanted to go here, I'd have to pay a flame before I could get that card. So it just adds that little something into the game. But otherwise, it plays basically like your other Everdell games. Like if you've played Everdell, you're going to know how to play this game. So it's just up to you to decide, do you want another Everdell game? I really like this series. I like the art and just the little different challenges between the main game, Far Shore, and this game. For me, they all have a place. The other the thing we liked that really added to the game were the big critters. By going up here and getting those, like they have some really great benefits to them, that you use your ranger and it can really add to your game. So instead of just getting, I mentioned before, the 2 acorns, you can now get 3. Or how I could trade 1 resource for 3 resources of my choice, as well as a flame. So there's little bits they add to it that just change it up that little bit to make the game new. So let me know if you've had a chance to play Everdell Silverfrost and what you think of the game.